I'm going to go back to something that Herb said because I think this is the crux. This is the heavy foundational piece that is not really there. It is for every single child to have two caring, engaged, present parents. If that happened, we would have a lot better outcomes. I think when you look at the other dimensions of all this, it's if it were valued financially, Alabama Medicaid pays $78 for a visit. That would be well visits or even sick visits, hadn't changed in the last 20 years. They're finally going to update that. I think they're going up $10. It's not even a break even point if you think about it. So the financial, as you said it quite well, that somehow the children and their health hasn't made it to a priority list. I think that's a major problem. You guys live in kind of academic environments. There is a little bit of a stigma that was shared with me by a patient one time when she said, if you're any good, you wouldn't live here anyway. I don't know if this was a stigma that was there when you were in your academic center training. You don't want to get another LMD consult, a local medical doctor consult, because you felt like that those guys were just idiots. There's a little bit of a sense of, you guys know what you're doing anyway. Why don't you just send them all up here to us? They can't
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can't wait 4 months.
Yeah. I'll never forget. And I imagine he's retired or he's dead by now, so I can say his name, Dr. Harold Digger. He was a neonatologist. And we were doing rounds in the NICU when I was a resident in Chicago. And the first film, remember how the films was that thing that went round and round, and you had all the films in the
Oh,
patient?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Because nothing was digital. The first film of this newborn that had been transported in, he had a right mainstem intubation. And I looked at him, I was a second year resident. I'm like, Dr. Bigger, this is a small community hospital. Who knows when was the last time this anesthesiologist intubated a premature child? I think we have to understand that the win was he intubated him.
He got here alive. Yeah.
He's alive because he intubated him. He doesn't have a fellowship in neonatology. This could happen to any of us. That's why we always get a chest x-ray after we intubate. You might intubate somebody like that because you're not good yet. I certainly would never intubate anybody in mainstem bronchus. And you know what the surgeons say? If you hadn't had a complication, you haven't done enough procedures,
Procedures, yes.
Yeah.
you will have failed at intubating them. You will have put it on the right mainstem bronchus. And that's why we always get the x-ray to see where it's at. And so to judge somebody that in the middle of a war does the best they can with as little resources they have is just because you have a lot of dogma, a lot of ego, and no empathy. And that doesn't make for a good doctor.
I tell my parents, especially that children with handicaps and disabilities, doing the best with what you have in life, you can hold your head up because you're walking around with dignity, because that's all you can do. You do the best with
Yeah.
what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to be grateful. Like some children, unfortunately, will not be capable of attending college, but they may live a wonderful life without a college education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we reach the top of the hour, Doc, why don't you tell us about that loneliness video? Tell us the story about the loneliness video.
The isolation of the pandemic has really weighed heavy on, I think, all of America. People have gotten comfortable being off by themselves. They've gotten out of what Thomas Haidt calls in his Anxious Generation book, living IRL in real life. They've gotten away from that. And our Surgeon General just announced that he felt that loneliness was the number one health problem. It really resonated with me. I'm isolated where I live. You guys are some of the most stimulating conversation I've had in the last 20 years because I don't get to go to many meetings. I don't
Wow.
have relationships with other people. So I guess that built that loneliness video as much for me as anybody else. If it can help somebody be bold enough to get out of their comfortable square box that they live in and go out in the world where everybody has problems like theirs, and to be able to share and to be able to find friendships and relationships, I think everybody's mental health will be better. That's why I did it. And what to do with it, where it lands, how it goes, I don't know. I just felt compelled to produce something like that. If you would, anybody that wants to look at it, use it however they want to, please feel free to do that.
Yeah, we'll share it in the show notes.
Definitely will.